That's awesome. So you'll see we're readying up because there's actually going to be a 4-person lobby going on. Just wanted to make sure I started off so everybody knew what was going on. And yeah, so what was this intended player experience that you were going for? And what are those surrounding systems you were really excited to build?
Yeah, so it started at the beginning of the year when we were trying a lot of different concepts, throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall to see what stuck. One of the things we kept coming back to was giving the player a camera. We found that photography is an inherently fun mechanic to participate in, more so if you're playing with friends. And from there, we decided to take a look at other currently popular multiplayer games in the field, like Lethal Company or Content Warning. And we noticed that all of those have kind of like a light horror element to them to kind of drive players together and get those fun player dynamics. So we thought, what if we took out those light horror elements and replaced them with something more easygoing, more relaxed, something more collaborative. And I think I can speak for the whole team when I say that we've made something really special to experience, and it's just been so magical to watch the community grow around it.
Yeah, bouncing off of that a little bit, one of the major systems that actually really embraces this non-linear, non-urgent gameplay is the detection system, which really is technically a lot. Essentially,
Yeah.
it works retroactively, which not only encourages the players to accept quests on their own time, but since it works retroactively, well, I'll explain a little bit how it works. It's a lot, but in a nutshell, when you take a picture, it basically automatically detects all defined entities in the frame and tags that photo for everyone in the lobby. So when you go up to submit a quest, essentially anyone submitting that can see all of the eligible photos, no matter when you took it, even if you took it before you accepted a quest. So this really encourages players to just goof off.
Yeah, and you're very lucky because you had a lot of fans willing to bug test literally all of those states for you. So you're quite lucky there. So speaking of that, and the multiplayer especially, your game started with networked multiplayer, which is quite rare. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges you experienced while you were integrating everything?
Oh yeah, it's a lot, but we knew right from the get-go that we needed to prove the feasibility in order to pursue the concept. So literally from week 2, we had it up and running with Steamworks. Thankful for our dedicated networking programmer who got that up and running and enforced the crazy networking pipeline that we had to work through. A lot of the challenges came with the maintenance of that because every single thing, pretty much, that we implemented in the game had to go through that pipeline, whether it be the expansive quest system or little things like ragdolling the player with the hammer. And thankfully, we had that streamlined pipeline and also our dedicated QA manager who dedicated a lot of time towards mitigating problems that, for example, things working only in solo, but not really working in multiplayer. It really helped identify those problems.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember much testing. So you have, as we mentioned before, so many different types of creatures and distinct variants. How did you go about creating those and thinking about how you would design them for the environment?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk about this because the creature pipeline was a really interdisciplinary effort. We kept it that way intentionally throughout the development cycle so that anybody could suggest ideas and feel like they were adding value to the game and generating buy-in. So with our creatures, they would start with design, where our designers and anyone else who wanted to suggest ideas would get together and kind of build one signature behavior for the creatures. Something that would set them apart from the other creatures already existing in our game, highlighting a new mechanic or otherwise adding player value to the experience. And after that base level of behavior was established, then we would move on to making 2D art concepts for it, which would then be voted on by the team as to which one we should go forward with. And then after that, the art team would work so hard to model, texture, rig, and animate it, all while programming is working on creating or implementing that first level of behavior. And once we had that rudimentary version of the creature in with visuals and the technical side of things as well, then we could move on to expanding it, like adding behaviors for day or night, or adding additional animations and VFX to make it seem like a fully thought out, fully realized implementation into the game.
Yeah, bouncing off of the implementation for a little bit, that was also very streamlined as well, because we had our two wonderful AI programmers who worked so hard actually implementing these behaviors, but also making some dynamic tools specifically for encounter design, so that our wonderful level designer could take that and actually place the creatures in the world. And when we're dealing with like an open nonlinear experience, it's kind of hard to craft intended player experiences, but with those tools, we can kind of guide the player where we kind of want to. For example, they made a tool called Creature Zones, where we could assign creatures kind of localized areas to help craft more intended player experiences in the world.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I really pushed this team and challenged them. And so I'd love if you talk a little bit about how you prioritize some of the things you created for your environment when you were trying to really drive home that immersion.
Yeah. I mean, one of our goals from like the first day of development, when we were all talking about what we wanted to focus on most, was creating an immersive world that the players felt like existed around them and took them in. And so that was also a big effort from multiple branches of the team working together. So again, with design, our level design is very open-ended, meaning players can pursue what they want as it catches their attention. This also meant that we had to make stuff to catch the players' attention in the first place. So that means landmarks, environmental hazards, things the players can interact with. Yeah, they're fine. Things the players can interact with and see and be like, I want to go there, and they can. So from an environment art standpoint as well, sorry.
It's okay.
We have dozens of pieces of unique foliage and props, all with a comprehensive LOD or level of detail system, meaning that they're rendered in higher detail the closer you are to them, which keeps our game running like super smoothly and is well optimized.
So we have time for one more quick one, so I want to make sure we fit it in.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the sound really quick.
Go for it. Yes,
that
we got to
also
call out the sound.
Yeah, holds up our immersive environment. So with our music, it's dynamically zoned, meaning that a different version of the track will be played depending on where the player is in the environment. And in addition to that, we have real nature recorded soundscapes. For instance, Caleb, our sound designer, recorded in Centennial Woods here in Burlington, Vermont, and also Cave of the Winds in Colorado. And all these work together to make the environment you see today.
Yeah, which I just want to quickly mention, you are one of very few student games to feature a day-night cycle. Was it a challenge to get that up and running?
Yes. Very briefly, why we did it was because one of our core gameplay pillars from the very start was to create a lived-in environment, and the day-night cycle really helps embrace this autonomous ecosystem with their own circadian rhythm, like creatures having their own states during day and night, different environmental flares, and stuff like that. But there were some problems, if you want to touch on that, Annie.
Oh yeah, there were issues. But in the end, we felt rewarded with how it came out. The environment art team had to start thinking about how their various props and elements in the environment would look from different lighting angles. And then we had this really funny bug where at dawn and dusk, the world would be plunged into extreme darkness. So as you can imagine, not fun for picture taking, but we were able to solve it by calculating the angle that the sun intersects with the landscape, and then from there dynamically fading in and out moonlight in order to make the transition as painless as possible between day and night.
And not me running into walls again and again and again. So I've known some of you for, almost 3 years now, and I just want to say how very proud I am of all of you, and how much I'm glad that you made so much comedy in this game. So let's, with that, rockle on over to the reels. Yay!
Thank you.